Well, joining me now in the studio is Georgina Wright, a Senior Brexit Researcher for the Institute for Government, an independent think tank which aims to improve government effectiveness through research and analysis. Georgina, good to have you with us. Just chatting to you a second ago, you were saying your feeling is that last night was very much about the EU, not the UK.
Yeah, I think EU leaders have been asking repeatedly, look, what is your plan, the UK? You want an extension, fine, but what purpose is it going to serve? And I think what the Council conclusions suggest is that actually they've put that aside and they've said, how can we ensure that Brexit doesn't interfere with all our other work going forward? Because this is a really important year for the EU.
Talk to us then about the mechanics, the dates, what could happen between now and the 31st of October.
Right, so we know that the EU rejected the Prime Minister's request for an extension to the end of June, but they still left a choice. They said if you organise European elections, you'll have until the 31st of October, and if you fail to organise European Parliament elections in May, then you'll be out on the 31st of May. Now, how that works in practice, well, the UK would have to organise European Parliament elections, 73 MEPs that it would elect to the European Parliament, and we know that those elections take place at the end of May, and then that the new European Parliament would, new MEPs would take up their seats in July.
What impact could those elections have on the Conservative Party and the Labour Party, and could they be to the benefit of smaller parties like the Independent Group now, Change UK and the Brexit Party?
Well, generally speaking, and this is not just in the UK, European Parliament elections have always been considered second-order elections. It's sort of, what we really care about is the general election, and we'll use this election to kind of sometimes get back to national government or to promote parties and politicians that might not make it into the national parliament. So it will be really interesting to see how that pans out. Will we see a surge in anti-European candidates taking up seats in July? Or will it be a surge of pro-European candidates? Everything remains to be seen, I think.
As David was remarking at the end of his report, all the big questions remain unanswered. So where, if anywhere, is an answer going to come from? Could it be from the cross-party talks between Labour and the Conservatives? Or will answers simply not be found on an issue that has proved, intractable and incredibly divisive?
It is incredibly divisive, and it's also incredibly complicated. And I think what we forget is that so long as these withdrawal talks continue, the UK and the EU can't talk about their future relationship, which will be, I think, the most complicated part of this negotiation. Look, I think everything hinges on how those talks between the government and the opposition go, whether there is a signal that they can find a majority for something that can pass in the House of Commons. If not, does the UK leave with no deal? Does the UK go until October with no plan? I mean, everything hinges on how those talks here in the UK go over the next couple of days.
Okay, Georgina, thank you very much for your thoughts on that.